Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, of course, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Lemonade Days, posted to r/mytheasshole February 19th, 2020. Am I the asshole if I report the couple's therapist that married my ex-boyfriend a year after our session with her? In 2017, I, female 25, saw a couples therapist with my then boyfriend, male 36. After 3 sessions with her, I refused to return due to her blatant flirtatious behavior and extremely judgmental attitude towards me, which my ex-boyfriend called me delusional for pointing out. She had told me that I seemed too immature, not ready for therapy or a serious relationship. The whole thing was focused on my ex-boyfriend and his complaints about me. She never asked about my feelings or perspective in the relationship. We broke up about 2 months after the sessions, but I stayed living with my ex-boyfriend until November. Once after I moved out, I had to return to our old apartment to get mail. This was in December. And that was the first time I saw the therapist with my ex. They happened to be getting ready to go out on his motorcycle and were both wearing full-face motorcycle helmets. But I knew from her body type and hair that it was her, along with my instincts, which suspected something was going on the whole time. But nevertheless, I moved on with my life. I just found out yesterday my ex got married due to a friend telling me about a photo he posted on Facebook. The photo was of him and my ex-therapist celebrating their 1-year wedding anniversary. I found her Facebook with the name change, and sure enough, they got married September of 2018, or earlier. That's just when she posted the wedding photos. This was less than a year after the breakup with my ex, and barely over a year after our sessions with her ended. I'm considering filing a complaint with the American Counseling Association. My friends and mental health counselors I know say I have enough evidence. I'm not upset that my ex moved on, so have I. I thank the universe every day that I'm no longer with that narcissist. However, I feel deeply disturbed to find out he married our therapist, especially remembering all the harmful stuff she said to me in the sessions, which, to be honest, really messed with my head. I fear coming off as a bitter ex. Am I the asshole? Edit, too long didn't read my boyfriend married our couples therapist a year after our sessions with her. I'm not sure if it's too petty or bitter to report her to the ACA or if anything will even come of it. Verdict, not the asshole. Relevant comments. Pillmaken. Hi, I'm a therapist. Please report her. Her behavior is ridiculous, unethical, and who knows what else she's done or if she even should be allowed to practice. Not the asshole times a million. Edit, I gotta say, I'm loving this veritable Greek chorus of therapists showing up to chant, "Report her! Report her!" OP, if you see this, please don't feel like you're obligated to report her. You do what you need to do to find peace and closure. Alright? Devil's Advocate responds, the normal rule is no dating patients within 12 months of the last encounter, correct? Not sure if that's illegal or just an in-house rule. Bill End responding further, even if the marriage/relationship was a year after, I bet OP's fella started banging this therapist after the first few meetings. Very unprofessional. If I were OP, I wouldn't hesitate to report them. Are there any professional bodies that can prevent her practicing though? I don't know if they can be struck off like a surgeon or doctor who is guilty of malpractice. Beautif Disaster 22 responds, if an ethics complaint is filed, she can potentially lose her license. Edit, I was answering the question, are there any professional bodies that can do anything? My answer is yes, but a complaint needs to be filed. She can lose her license, but there are other penalties that can be imposed by the board, which is why I said potentially. Comment from Metastatic Mindy. Curious, whose idea was it to go for therapy and who picked out the therapist? OP responds, him and him. Neon Nice responds, oh, any chance this was happening prior? OP responds, I have no idea, but one of my friends suggested that. Neon Nice further comments, might be worth looking into, especially if you paid for the sessions. OP responds, he paid, did the scheduling, everything. I never even signed a consent form, I just went with him. Brown Sugar Bear responds, there are red flags flying up all over the place regarding this therapist's practice. You didn't even sign a form and she was seeing you as a client? That's not normal. At all. OP responds, yeah, you're right. I realize that now. At the time, I suspected things were weird, but I was more focused on just trying to get on with my life, you know? For all those people saying, well, why did you wait until now that they're married? OP made both updates the following day, February 20th, 2020, same post. Edit, update. Wow, thank you everyone for your responses. I realize that as the ex, it is pretty much impossible for it to not seem like I'm jealous/petty/bitter. Whatever you want to say. However, it is also impossible to have sat in those sessions and then see your therapist and ex get married and have zero feelings about it, regardless of having moved on. Please give me a break, I'm human. Anyway, I've made my decision, I'm not going to participate in this post anymore, but I sincerely thank those of you that have made meaningful contributions. Edit again. Update. So, one of my friends has basically taken it upon herself to investigate this therapist. I swear she should be in the FBI. LOL. She found out that this is the third last name that this woman has practiced psychotherapy with. Psychotherapy? That sounds like a fucking spell. Psychotherapy, my bad. Under the first name, in 2014, she was charged with a DUI/property damage. She also comes up on health grades with 5 one-star reviews and an overall 3-star rating. Essentially, what this new information does for me is confirm that she's been a shitty human being with shitty morals for quite some time. There is no way this is the first time she has caused undue harm to a client. Therefore, I can say with certainty that I am reporting. Relevant comments. The Dread Pirate, Jeff. Not the asshole. Ordinarily, I'd suggest this is pretty petty. Happens in relationships that go south, blah, blah, blah. However, in this instance, there's a very good chance that someone that you went to for counseling took advantage of your vulnerabilities and used them to manipulate you for her own gain. So, I'd say go for it, and report that shit high and wide. That said, you know what kind of guy your ex is, and now she's stuck with him. So, there's at least some justice in that. OP responds, thank you, yes. Like I said, if he married anyone else, I literally would not care. Very happy to not be with him. My concern is her professional conduct. At the time, it was very rough for me to watch them flirt in those sessions and team up against me. Now I see that they're perfect for each other. But she should not be a therapist. Xenocrate. It's very rare to be presented with the opportunity to screw over your ex while doing the morally right thing. You have been given that opportunity. Don't squander it. Moister than an oyster responds. What does he have that's so special? I mean, for her to even be interested, then to risk her career. OP responds, that's a great question. All I know is that he pursued me with passion when I was 22, offering all the safety and security I craved at the time. He was going through a divorce, and I naively believed all the shit he fed to me. He made me feel like I was an angel sent from the heavens to rescue him. But then, I couldn't keep up with his unrealistic standards as I faced struggles that many early 20-something-year-olds deal with. His holier-than-thou attitude chipped away at my self-esteem. On more than one occasion, he told me that no man will ever love me again or want to put up with me. Then when we went to therapy, this woman confirmed that I was indeed a piece of shit. I never felt so low. He's a master psychological manipulator. Final comment from OP. Definitely a huge thank you to all the therapists showing up to support me. And also, thank you for adding the last bit. I just updated the post with the new information I have about her character. I'm definitely reporting. This woman should not be a therapist. I hope that she really did find true love for my ex and that it will be worth it for her. Really, I do. But she should not be trusted by another vulnerable person ever again. So unfortunately, that's where this ends. 5 years later and it's marked inconclusive, but this was just a hell of a post title. And yeah, if you're ever in an instance where it's like, well, am I being petty if I report this person for doing X, Y, and Z? Think about it from the standpoint of, will your pettiness prevent someone else from being harmed in the future because of their actions? If the answer is yes, then it's a justified petty measure to take. While OP is certainly being pettied for a lost relationship, there is still the fact that this therapist is horrible, taking advantage of vulnerable people, dragging them through the mud, making them feel like hell, and then stealing their partners by the end of it. Like, what the hell? One of the scariest parts of this is all it takes is her doing this kind of nonsense and bullshit to someone who is just on their last leg and struggling, someone who is at their rope's end. And she does this. And she would have blood on her hands. So by reporting her and getting this behavior known, you could very well be saving someone, or preventing them from going to a therapist that is more interested in the trophy beside them, besides actually helping the situation. This post was clicked by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, of course, Satan is not a pogo stick. The original OP is Dragon Master Ash, posted to r/Rover Pet Sitting, April 11th, 2025. Sitter drank all my alcohol, then abandoned my pets. I hired a sitter on Rover over a month ago for a trip this week. From last Saturday through Friday, today, to house sit at my house. We did a meet and greet. I liked her. She has 8 5-star reviews over the last year and a half, with the last several months of verified stays. Booked through Rover. We did exchange WhatsApp numbers because I'm out of the country on this trip and do not have an international calling plan. She sent messages the first few days. Wednesday at 3 a.m., she sent a message that she had been sick with a stomach bug, but was feeling better. She asked a question about one dog's behavior, sitting in the bathroom barking, and I responded she probably wants fresh water. She's asking to drink from the toilet. I didn't hear anything, so I sent several messages checking in. On WhatsApp and Rover. No response. I checked my smart lock on my door, and there was very minimal locking and unlocking, and always from inside. I checked my camera outside that door. My dogs happened to be outside, so I watched them. Then you hear a man I don't know, say, "Okay, one last shot." Then the man whistles for the dogs to come inside. And she wobbles into the doorway. They walk out, and she falls over, and he catches her. They leave together in, I assume, his vehicle. She was barefoot and obviously heavily intoxicated. That was 4 p.m. Thursday. I sent my friend over around midnight to check on the dogs and let them out. She found my bottles of liquor, now empty, all over the dining table. They were all either brand new or over half full. A handful of my Truly seltzers, emptied and in the trash. A container of Kratom on the table and several more in the trash. A couple empty bottles of a THC drink with more in the fridge that are not mine. A weed vape pen on the table. Loose pills in the bottom of her purse. Methocarbamol, 500 milligrams. That matches a prescription my dog has, but she had more than what my dog was prescribed. So either none or only some were stolen from my dog. My boxes, where I keep medications, were taken down from the cabinet in the bathroom and set on the counter in back of the toilet. I won't know if any are missing until I get home, but I have the things worth stealing with me. The toilet was clogged. The second toilet has a towel under it like it was leaking, which it has never done before. My dogs, free-fed. I keep food in their bowls at all times. Both bowls were empty. Their water, a 2-gallon bowl with fountain, was empty. My friend put 2.5 cups of food in both bowls, and they immediately ate all of it. Then she put another 5 cups in both bowls, and they kept eating. They never do this, so they hadn't been fed in a long time. Thank you for reading this far. I want to know what is every single step I should take. I have already made a report to Rover. I can't call their number until I'm back in the country at my layover around 6:30 p.m. today. I sent them all the pictures from my friend and the video from my camera of her falling over. They are sending it to their trust and safety team and said I should get a response within 24 hours. They've offered no alternatives to pet care in the meantime. My friend spoke with the police and they said her stuff is abandoned property, so have her car towed and do whatever with her things inside my house. If she comes back, I can keep her stuff until I'm home and make sure she only leaves with her things. I have deactivated the door code so it won't work, and all doors are locked. But I will see if she attempts to come back and use her code. Her car is still in my driveway. My friend peeked inside and saw synthetic urine inside. The fuck? I have not had any communication since the message Wednesday. How much liability is on Rover? Relevant comments. Bulky District 2757. This is insane. I'd imagine Rover will refund you and then ban the sitter. Opie responds, I do also feel that much is guaranteed. I'm not sure about the several $100s in alcohol she consumed. Is that a civil suit? Can I even get her info from Rover to be able to file that? And I have no idea the cost of the toilet repair. Scouty Dowdy. Hey, so she got really fucked up, and a man came and took her away, and she never returned for her car or any of her stuff? Am I the only one actually concerned for the sitter's well-being? What if she's been kidnapped? She had good reviews and 1.5 years of them to boot. This is really abnormal behavior from what I can see. Opie responds, she definitely knew the man who showed up. He seemed concerned when he first got there, and he stayed for a while before they left together. He was helping her to the car. It seemed like he came to help. Opie added additionally in the comments, I was also wondering how someone with this level of addiction could have passed the background check. I have her last name because she has business cards in her purse, and a vague address from her Rover profile. Annex D responds, none of the substances that were being used are illegal, so as long as the sitter hasn't committed a crime adjacent to addiction, theft, DUI, etc., there is no reason they would not pass a background check. Sounds like the sitter is smart enough to have a designated driver if they left their vehicle in Opie's driveway. However, it sounds like their sticky finger will eventually land them a theft charge. Opie responds, well, it's theft now. All the liquor bottles were mine, and the seltzers. Mini update in the comments. General updates after going through my whole house. There were methocarbamol pills scattered everywhere throughout her things, as well as a few Sudafed, amoxicillin, another vape, and many of those little bottles of kratom. Inside her box of cosmetics, inside her box of yarn and crochet supplies, inside multiple pockets of her purse. I threw all of it away. She has a prescription bottle for sertraline. It was on the floor in a bag, and thank God my dogs didn't get into it. My custom-built gaming table, the floor under it, the chair that was on the end of the table are all incredibly sticky and nasty. Multiple towels were in the washing machine. The towel on the floor of the spare bath smells like shit. So did her clothes in the spare room. The main bath was clogged because the tank was empty, because the water was shut off. It appears to be flushing now. Hopefully, that's functional. The toilet is stinky and nasty. The spare bath is stinky. The dogs were happy to see me. I brought them chicken nuggets, I turned my back, and Jenny ate half my burger bun too. The counter-surfing goon. Both are currently napping on either side of me. I will investigate the yard in the morning given that I found some empty Truly cans and a cigarette butt in the front porch. Her car is still out front. It's parked entirely off the street with all four wheels in the grass between the yard and my neighbor's yard. I'm still going through all the camera footage. There is more. The man was there longer, and she stumbled into the house at 9 a.m. Wednesday. I think they were gone all Tuesday night. I will update once I can finish reviewing all that. No new responses from Rover. Thank you everyone for the warmth and support and advice. I will continue to keep everyone updated via this thread. Update 1, April 16th, 2025, 5 days later. The empty bottles. Picture attached, which looks to be an empty bottle of Fireball, Maker's Mark, and a few others that I do not recognize. Looks to be about 6 bottles in total. I finished reviewing all the camera footage. It took most of Saturday and Sunday after arriving home. The sitter arrived at my home at 10:30 a.m. Saturday. I hadn't requested her to start until the afternoon, but she said she happened to be off work, so would show up early. She started drinking the seltzers on the front porch at 11 a.m. that day. She notices the camera and tries to hide the cans in her dress as she drinks them outside Saturday and Sunday. She also smokes outside those days. I found an empty HHC sativa cigarette box and saw her bring that into the house. Plus, found a lighter. I assume that's what she was smoking. Her boyfriend starts showing up on Tuesday and shows up every day after that. Usually twice a day. I've never met him and never agreed to allow him in my house. She appears drunk while leaving Tuesday at 6:30 p.m. and no one returns until she comes back Wednesday at 8:30 a.m., also stumbling. She sent me an update at 3:30 a.m., while not even at my house, to say she had a stomach bug and ask about my one dog barking in the bathroom. I responded saying she was asking for water. That was the last communication I had from her until Friday morning, when her boyfriend tried to get into the house with her code. I sent several messages and requests for updates via Rover and WhatsApp, but didn't hear back. The first time the door opens on Thursday is at 3:45 p.m., when her boyfriend shows up. It's possible she left the dogs out in the backyard, but until then, they had been going out the side door with the camera quite often. so I suspect they weren't let out at all that day. Watching the full video, her boyfriend has a moment of breaking down crying, facing the outdoor camera with his back to her, after finding her, so I don't think he was encouraging her to drink. His full comment, after listening very closely, is, "Take one last shot and then we'll go." And then there's another, quieter, "We gotta get out of here." I think he was just trying to convince her to leave. I do think it's possible she was actually in the hospital. I never saw anyone else show up to the house. So, given how much she drank, she absolutely should have been in the hospital. In general, the videos were a lot of just the dogs being outside, barking to come in, wandering around, and Ginny begging for someone to throw her frisbee. It was so hard to watch them be ignored like that. I feel guilty for not keeping a closer eye on my camera. I normally watch the door locking and unlocking and use that to check the camera, but she wasn't locking it, even overnight or when she left the house. I know I wouldn't have caught the early signs of drinking the seltzers unless I was watching every single video, but I'm feeling the parent guilt over everything my babies went through. I've written out a full timeline of events, saved all relevant videos, saved screenshots of all conversation on WhatsApp and Rover, printed all emails with Rover, including a copy of my dog sitting instructions, and collected every photo from myself and my friends. I updated the itemized list to include the actual amount of time my friends spent here, screenshots of Uber costs, and things like that, plus court costs. I ordered all photos to be printed to bring to court. I'm not sure how to share the videos other than bring my tablet to court, but I took the most damning screenshot from every video and added that to the printed photos. I officially filed paperwork for a civil suit against her, and the sheriff has everything to serve her. After double-checking all the costs of everything, getting the total from the housekeeper, and adding in court-related costs, I'm suing for $1,124. If all goes well, court will be mid-May. I searched public records in my area for her, and she has no record, for crimes or probation, that I could find. I'm guessing the synthetic urine was to pass a drug screen for work. I was able to get a housekeeper to come Monday to help with the sticky mess in gross bathrooms. I've been doing laundry for days in between all the documentation. Everything in my house feels gross and violated. The pups are acting relatively normal, maybe a little more tired than usual. The independent hound dog is definitely clingier than usual and actually listening when I tell her to come. The Carolina dog couldn't possibly get more clingy than she already was, and she's acting perfectly normal. I took them on a car ride with me to get some food because I couldn't bear to leave them, and they got spoiled with some chicken nuggets. They're getting extra treats and love. The vet said that after 6 days without it, the Prozac is basically out of Ginny's system and it could take another 6 to 8 weeks to see full effects again. There's also a chance it will not work at all anymore after suddenly stopping it. So far, it does seem she's calmer, so I'm hoping she's feeling better to be back on it and home safe with Mama. Attached is the full-res original image from my friends for the haters. I'm guessing that'd be the bottle photo from earlier. Relevant comments. Super Crash! I've been waiting for this update. I cannot imagine how someone could do this while responsible for someone else's babies / in another person's home. I wish you all the best with your case and hope to get more updates. Has the sitter said anything else to you? Opie responds, "Not sure if you read all the updates on the other post. She apologized for making me uncomfortable and leaving my house a mess and said she hadn't drank in 9 years. Then threatened me for keeping her things. I said that her things were in her car and it had been towed. And if she wanted to settle things out of court, here's the itemized list. I listed out all the alcohol, cleaning fees, and extra sitters for 3 check-ins after she left. She said she'll have her lawyer call me and this is a cease and desist. I haven't heard anything from her since then." When discussing what cost to add to the civil suit, mind over entropy. Your time cleaning, vet costs, and time should also be included. I hope they were. Prior Talk 7726 responds, "And you said you hired a house cleaner. Include that too." OP responding to this chain, "I included the house cleaner with a receipt signed by both of us. I haven't included my time spent cleaning. I can bring that up in court and see what they say." Shrinking Nadia, "And the time your friend took to go over and check things out. Also, consider a lawyer." OP responds, "Yes, I included Uber for friends and the time they spent there for 3 check-ins until I could get home." Update 2, July 2nd, 2025. Additional photos. Holy shit, that is 12 bottles. 12 empty bottles of like handles of alcohol, including several cans and just additional paraphernalia. That I don't think I can show the additional paraphernalia because that actually might break YouTube's TOS, but it is there. That is a lot of alcohol to consume in only a few days. Continuing with the update. I showed up at the most recent court date. I tried to have the sheriff serve her, paperwork returned as multiple failed attempts. I sent certified mail to her home, returned undeliverable. I sent certified mail to her business, and someone, not her, signed for it. And that was then returned to the court as well. The judge said that I have to continue to attempt, and they cannot hear the case until she is served. My only allowed options for serving her are via sheriff or certified mail. So, I need help. How do I find her and get her served? The sheriff and post office left notes that they attempted to reach her, so she knows I'm after her. I have the following information on her because of everything she left in my house, which has since been returned. Full name, address at the time of events, her frequently used username from her Cash App credit card, her social security number, her card was in her things, current and former driver's license, her past workplaces, business cards, and her now expired car dealership seller license number. It's not searchable, unfortunately. I found her Facebook page, minimal public info, Instagram, barely used, and Reddit account, frequently used but nothing on this subreddit. Based on what I have, it looks like she moved to another city 2.5 hours away, but in the same state. I'm not sure if it's allowed to post the state here, but that's super relevant because legal issues vary so widely from state to state. So I'll put it in a comment in case that needs deleted. Relevant comments. The state. OP. If allowed, the state is North Carolina. And this time NC actually means North Carolina, and not no contact. Why not hire someone to serve her? Hilarious! Individuals aren't allowed to serve in my state, unfortunately, or I would absolutely be down for such antics. This is like actually a nightmare scenario, and I genuinely wonder what caused this kind of just mess to occur. Was it just a really nasty relapse that turned into just them having essentially a couple day-long bender of constantly drinking and drinking and drinking until they had to be taken to the hospital, essentially? Or what? Like, I really can't think of anything that would cause someone to be, a highly regarded sitter on Rover to then just suddenly do this. Like, I have only ever heard negative things about Rover. From pets dying and Rover's response being to delete the negative reviews and then banning the user to just a bunch of other just random bullshit. As for taking this person to court and suing them civilly, I can really only wish you good luck because it sounds like this is the only matter of recourse that you're gonna get. It's gonna be messy and difficult, but from the sounds of it, you've already done your due diligence by collecting enough evidence, and now all you gotta do is just find a way to serve them. Not being able to hire a process server or by going through the normal means of serving that most states have is definitely going to complicate things. Only being able to use the sheriff's department and mail is certainly odd, and that just seems to be very poorly designed. Part of me, though, is kind of envious of it, but still, that's besides the point. Best of luck to OP, and I'm happy that this ended with at least the dogs being okay because there have been stories, horror stories of Rover sitters showing up, not taking care of the dogs, and unfortunately, the pets usually end up passing from the neglect of the Rover sitters. Honestly, I suppose the biggest takeaway from this is to be incredibly cautious if you use Rover, and perhaps look at other services, or even just a classic boarding kennel that has good reviews and that you can trust. My only problem that I have with boarding is the fact that oftentimes kennel cough will usually end up happening. But honestly, I'd take kennel cough over the chance of my pets being abandoned and left alone in the home. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those two are my personal favorites right now.